Would you agree that it's good to learn from your own mistakes, but it's even better if you can learn from the mistakes of others? So I've been learning foreign languages for about 10 years, almost daily, trying out different techniques and making some silly mistakes and learning quite a lot from them and learning from other experienced language learners and yeah, I hope this video will help you avoid some of the mistakes I've made. The first mistake is that I am stronger than social media during my language learning sessions. Yeah, on some days I am stronger than the temptation of checking my social media or checking the news, but on many other days, if I'm using my phone as a dictionary, I may even, without noticing, just open my Facebook or news. Yeah, that's problematic because that slows down my studies. I have quite limited time to use for my studies, especially now that I have a child, and uh, and yeah, it's been especially a problem in the past year with the war in Ukraine. That I try to read and understand what's going on there, and so yeah, it's quite difficult sometimes to resist the temptation. So I have been studying more with all the electronic devices far away from the table or from the sofa where I'm learning. So having my phone in another room and checking those, using the phone dictionary later, so I can write down sentences that seem useful on my notebook, and then I can check them from a dictionary all at once after the study session itself. So yeah, I've been using books and comics more, or graphic novels. But yeah, I want to mention messages to friends. It has happened quite often that I'm studying Japanese, that I'm concentrating on at the moment, and then I remember, oh, that friend sent me a message 3 days ago, and I still haven't answered. Oh no, he might get upset if I don't answer right now. Yeah, for other reasons also, I think it's better to have the phone more in the other room while I'm studying. I'm My willpower is not that strong, at least in this point of my life. And yeah, if I'm in a cafe, I can't. I'm studying in a cafe. I can't just put the phone in another room in the cafe's kitchen, but I can still put my phone deep in my backpack that I often carry, or at least have it out of sight. I've heard of research that says that it increases your concentration if you have the phone out of your sight. Another mistake I had many years ago is the thought that I have to move to a country where language is spoken in order to really learn to speak the language well. But yeah, later I found advice from experienced language learners, and I realized that, especially with current technology, you can have video calls with native speakers. You can have pretty cheap tutors that you can talk with with video calls, and with the internet you have so much content that you can watch and listen. So I said that it's good to avoid distractions from phone and smart devices. But yeah, I think it can be different if you use a laptop or a tablet where you're maybe not so used to those social media apps. And anyway, maybe before you get the chance to travel to that country and buy those books, uh, you can watch videos and download stuff to listen to, or just you don't even have to download them. Many people will know that there are many podcasts the podcasts that teach foreign languages, and I think while you are with podcasts you don't have the same problem with distractions, because at least I listen to podcasts mostly when I'm doing something else, like walking, pushing my baby in a stroller, the pram, and or if I'm cleaning the house or walking anywhere else. Pretty much I listen to interviews and other podcasts. There, at least for the major languages, there are podcasts and stuff to listen to in quite many levels. So those help a lot. And at least if you're living in major cities, there are like international meetups where you can meet people from different countries. There are apps, at least there's Tandem and Hello Talk, where you can search people who speak certain languages and see where if they live close to you. And yeah, it's a lot of fun meeting people from different countries and learning languages together. Often they will want to practice English or some other language, maybe your native language, or they might be just bored or a bit lonely. So you can both benefit. Mistake number 3 would be staying with boring learning material, or more or less boring. I don't think all textbooks are boring, but and maybe early on it's difficult to avoid textbooks that explain the basic grammar, and at that point it's also fascinating to get to know a new language and see how the grammar works, and get used to the different sounds of the language, and I think there can be kind of a honeymoon in language learning when everything is new in the language, or much of the language is new and exotic, but quite early on I think it's good to at least partly move to stuff that is interesting to you, to your hobbies and interests, stuff that you would read or listen or watch in your native language. And so you might say that there's so many words that I don't know in a book or comic book or some video. But I think it's good to think about it another way. Like if you have a book about some topic that you're really interested in, or interview of your favorite band or something, you can enjoy the phrases that you did understand, like not concentrating in the early days on the stuff that you don't understand, but but yeah, being like celebrating a bit, like, on that page I understood 5 phrases, and also you got exposed to a lot of words and phrases, and you go like, oh, I wonder what that means, and the topic may be familiar to you, so you might guess many of the phrases. I personally enjoy learning languages with comics or graphic novels for many reasons. The images often help you understand and remember, give context to the phrases. I used to think that comics are only for children or teenagers, but there are some really deep graphic novels based on real novels or on historical events or social problems. So yeah, I'm gonna say that mistake number 4 is thinking that comics and graphic novels are only for children and teenagers. They're great for learning languages for pretty much everyone. I would say there are so many genres. And the mistake 5 that I've done is studying only on those days that I feel inspired or motivated or excited about the language. But yeah, quite early on, fortunately, in my language learning journey, I discovered the important advice that you just study every day, no matter how you feel. On some days you'll be more excited, on some days you won't initially feel like studying that language, but the progress you make with a daily or almost daily language learning habit, that increases your excitement for the language, and you will be able to have simple conversations probably earlier than most people would think. It's okay to have holidays or breaks sometimes, and but yeah, having extended periods of time when you study daily, I think that's one of the most important things to do in your language studies. I guess at least multiple times per week is important. Like, it's not enough to go for some course once per week. Yeah, let's be honest. You need quite a lot of words and phrases to be able to speak a language, even at the basic level, let alone fluently. And you also need the repetition. So with a daily language learning routine, you get that repetition. Okay, now there's a plane. Yeah, the daily habit will give that repetition because unless maybe you're super talented, you will need to repeat the words multiple times, and it helps that if you hear the same word like maybe multiple times during 1 week before it gets consolidated in your brain.